of a liberal religious community free in faith, diverse in thought, united in caring, and committed to action. For those wishing to learn more about this congregation, I invite you to visit our website or Facebook pages. Our worship service will begin shortly. Now would be a good time to silence your phones or anything that you have on you that makes noise. You'll need this morning the gray hymnal, the Singing the Living Tradition, and an order of service. And you will also need treats from the baskets that are sitting on the table at the back, where you would pick up your hymnal and so what you need to do is, this is going to be part of our service this morning, so you need to get a goodie from each basket up there and grab a drink. So I chose water, but there's also Yahoo chocolate almond milk, right? Yahoo almond milk, and is there anything else? There's regular whole milk. And there's regular whole milk. So you will need these for later on in the service. So now I will ask you to give your attention to the rolling slides that contain information about improving your online experience for those of you on Zoom, and also about upcoming events this week. You can also find look for the calendar on our website, and also we do a twice weekly emailing the e-blast on Wednesdays and Sundays. It also has events listed. Okay, if we can take a seat and so we can begin our service this morning with Barbara Messick.
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll start here. Anyway, very exciting. So many things happening. It's really fun to see so many people. Anyway, good morning and welcome. Oh, okay, here. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Boca Raton. My name is Barbara Messick, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees. Before we go to sharing of the sorrows, I would like to share with you a brief meditation from the All Souls UU Church in New York City. To be joyful in the universe is a brave and reckless act. The courage for joy springs not from the certainty of the human experience, but the surprise. Our astonishment at being loved, our bold willingness to love in return. These wonders promise the possibility of joyfulness no matter how often and how harshly love seems to be lost. Therefore, despite the world's sorrows, we give our thanks for our loves and our joys, and for the continued courage to be happily surprised. Now, I do want to turn to the sharing of the sorrows. Oh, all right, okay. Any newcomers who are here, please raise your hand. Anybody new? I see one person new right in front of me. Stand up and raise your hand.
So if anybody is new and would like to introduce themselves, I will bring the microphone to you. That is voluntary, of course. Would you like? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Greg Messick, Barbara's son, and I've been here many times for different celebrations. So I'm not really a newcomer, but it's great to be back visiting. So hello, everybody.
Welcome. You see, I'm more of a newcomer than you are because I didn't know you were Barbara's son. But then I can totally see it. Anybody else new who would like to introduce themselves this morning, visiting for the first time or returning after a long absence? Just Eric.
Hello, I'm Eric Landstrom, longtime visitor. Peter, hi, it was good to see you. You're in the link too. Hey, so long time, I raised my child through RE and through OWL as well, with Reverend Harris. So it is wonderful to be back this morning. Thank you.
Great, Eric, and I'm going to hand this microphone right back to you. Moving dowel over bowl causes vibrations, and vibrations build resonance, and resonant overtones bring harmony. Singing bowls are used in spiritual practice, in sound healing and meditation, As you listen to the swell and fade of sound, we invite you into a quiet, centered place within, breathing in acceptance and breathing out release until the silence is all that remains.
Good morning, friends. Unitarian Universalist congregations live out our 7 principles within a living tradition of wisdom and spirituality, drawn from sources as diverse as science, poetry, scripture, and personal experience. These are the 6 sources our congregations affirm and promote. Today's service, presented by the Pagan Study Group here at UUFBR, draws from neo-paganism, or the modern practice of paganism. Paganism is a category of religions that are polytheistic or pantheistic and worship nature. Studying, practicing, and exploring pagan practices and ideas is a way that we UUs affirm and promote our 6th source. Spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Those of us who find it transformative will find ourselves affirming and promoting our 1st source as well, that essential, direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. My tradition, Wicca, is one of the most well-known of the myriad pagan paths, and itself has within it many different varieties of practice. Normally, when starting a ritual, like honoring a sacred time of year, it is my practice to create sacred space by acknowledging the 4 cardinal directions and the Aristotelian elements associated with them. Why? We are grounding ourselves in the natural world. We are gathering up the aspects of ourselves that we have left hither and thither and bringing our full selves to our work. This morning, to call the quarters, we're using Meditation on the 4 Directions by Julia Hamilton from the UUA. In the pagan tradition, which is grounded in respect and reverence for the natural world, calling upon the 4 directions is the usual way to begin any ceremony. Each direction is associated with an element of the natural world and represents some part of our human nature as well. The directions are not seen as separate and isolated, but rather as a part of the interdependent system that makes up the world. Here, on our altar, we have symbolic elements for each direction, and we will travel through the meanings associated with each direction before entering into a time of meditation.
We begin in the east, towards the rising sun. The element of the east is air, represented on our altar by a feather. Air and breath give us life. It is the direction of inspiration. Inspiration, the word that literally means to take in air. The east is associated with the mind, with knowledge and learning, and intellectual curiosity. Imagine the birds turning and wheeling in the air. Imagine the breeze blowing through your hair. Turning towards the east, we look for a fresh start, an invigorating breath, a new idea. When you're feeling stuck in a rut, beholden to a routine, or if the wind has gone out of your sails, look eastward.
We move around the wheel to the south. The element of the south is fire, and in a southern place on our altar, the flame of a chalice burns bright. Fire is a transformative force. It is heat and light and powerful change. In the Northern Hemisphere, it makes sense that we associate the South, towards the equator, with the warmth of the sun and the heat of the flame. We see birds move south, butterflies move south, whales move south, seeking warmer places when the weather gets cold. When our internal weather gets cold, turning south is a metaphor for turning towards warmth and daylight, seeking out the changes that will warm us up, get our blood moving, call us out of our winters, out of hibernation, into action.
West, water. Continuing around the circle, we arrive in the west. The element of the west is water. And here on our altar, we have some of the water collected for our ingathering services. Each September. We add to this water each year, symbolizing the way we come together in our community as individual drops join into a mighty river. In the West, we are drawn to the experience of our emotions. It is a direction that calls us to self-reflection and self-understanding. Our emotions move in us like water flowing through our lives, sometimes calm and sometimes turbulent, but always flowing. When we dam up our feelings, just like when we dam up a river, the pressure builds until it finds an outlet. If you are seeking to get in touch with your inner life, with your emotions, turn towards the West.
We move now to the north. The element of the north is earth, represented here by some dirt from our very own garden. The stability is here, the ground of our being. The north represents the place that holds us, that allows us time and space to heal and grow, to feel nurtured and respected. It is also the place of embodiment, of connecting with our physical self, with the concrete, tangible world around us. The north calls to you if you are seeking balance, the deep wisdom that lives in your bones, a place of rest and recovery.
We have moved through these 4 directions, given them shape and meaning. East, air, breath and inspiration. South, fire, transformation and action. West, water, feeling and reflection. North, earth, balance and wisdom. Now I invite you to turn toward the direction that calls to you today. You can stay in your seat, you can stand, you can turn your head or your whole body, but orient yourself toward one of the directions, the element that speaks to you and your life right now. And when I ring the bowl gong, we will enter into 2 minutes of silent meditation. This morning's chalice lighting is Spirit of Life, Bring to Us Beauty by Judith L. Quarles. Spirit of Life, bring to us beauty, the beauty of snowdrops and tulip shoots. Bring to us strength, the strength of torrents of spring streams, and the quiet strength of roots pushing deep into the ground for nourishment. Bring to us pleasure, the pleasures of maple syrup sticky and sweet on our tongues, and the wind grabbing a kite and taking it high. If only we could go too. Bring to us wisdom, the knowledge that new life springs up without help. In spite of everything we do or don't, green shoots will bring in the spring. Grass and weeds and dandelions will appear. Bring to us love. Springtime love has magic in it. The children look cherubic, the parents look eager, the lovers look lost, the seniors look satisfied. Let springtime love be a part of our lives. Spirit of life, come to us that all the energy and power of spring will make us tall and smiling and expectant. Amen.
If you would like to join me in the reciting of our covenant, together, love is the doctrine of this faith, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, to the end that all shall grow into harmony, thus do we covenant with one another. And for those in the sanctuary, if you would like to take up your gray hymnals and turn to number 63, we will sing Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers. And for those on Zoom, we provide you the lyrics on screen. Nice, thank you. We would have at this time in our service an open circle of care where hearts connect and strengths are shared, and the weight of sorrow is made easier to bear. We take this moment to gather the concerns and sorrows of our days with tenderness. We hold them with gratitude. We hold them up, for this is what it means to be human, to be awake and alive. So for those in the sanctuary, if you would like to come forward and release a stone in the gathered waters of our community, you may do so in silence or share with us your sorrow. The microphone on the stand is not working. I'll help you with the one, the handheld. And then for those on Zoom, if you would like to share a sorrow, please put that in the chat, and Cindy Mullaney, our Zoom chaplain, will share with us.
I'm Judy Kaiser, and last night I attended a celebration of life for a friend who had a heart attack on his bicycle and went down and stayed for 10 days on life support while his wife made the hard decisions that she had to make. And she started what she told us last night by naming the number of days since his death. And it struck me because it brought me into her heart that every single day is another day without him. And that's what starts her day. So I release a stone to give her the peace to know that every day is another day that she hasn't really lost what was essential about him, and that she can start to count her days not from the day he died, but from some other beautiful day, like the day they met. And I also release a stone into the water for all those who are holding Carolyn Brown in your hearts. She's getting better. She's hanging on. She's doing what she needs to do to heal from her injuries. But it is a very long, slow process, and it's not over yet. So I ask that you continue to keep your hearts open to her and to keep writing cards that can be sent to her, because her days are moving very slowly and every bright spot helps. Thank you.
Come on up, Paul. I just want to say quickly that Danielle Smith, who lost her father a few weeks ago, she's visiting her mom in Port St. Lucie on weekends, so we won't see her for a while, but continue to hold her in your hearts and good thoughts and prayers as she grieves the loss of her father.
Hi, Paul. Maria Mole, many of us know. She had surgery a week and a half ago. She told me that the surgery was successful. She's in rehab. Also, how much she appreciates all of the expressions of caring and kindness that came from the congregation. And this is for Patricia, who's just struggling.
Who just what, Paul? She's struggling. Okay, thank you, Paul. Cindy, anybody on Zoom with a sorrow?
There are no sorrows in Zoom.
Hi, I'm Ted Siddell, and I ask your prayers for my brother-in-law, who has been a school teacher his whole life, but recently had to take disability because he was having so much anxiety with the turmoil in the schools, and he doesn't really know what he's going to do. He's only 50. He's not sure what he's going to do to support himself and career-wise, but he's struggling, as many teachers are, I think.
This Stone I place for all of the sorrows which remain on our hearts and unspoken this morning. I invite you now into a time of meditation, spoken and silent. The words this morning of Chris Cervantes for our meditation, spoken words. A blazing sun on the horizon between craggy hills with deep green grass. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Be at ease. Look up at the stars and down at the grass. Imagine the stars looking back at you over years and centuries across oceans of empty space. Imagine the feel of the grass on your bare feet and feel it dry and crunchy, soft and supple. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Dream for a little while of young people and young animals, innocent in the way of the young, careless, uncaring, accepting everything in their newness. Dream for a little while of the elders and the wisdom they have to give, the voices that say to you, it is right and proper to rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Be still. At the turning axis of the world, be still and let go of the long unspooling of history, of sorrow and joy, and birth and death, and all the long years between. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. And let us share a time of silence. It is in giving and receiving that we weave a life worth living and shape a better world. May the connections of the heart now be strengthened so that kindness and care may flow. Amen. And our congregational response is hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. The lyrics are on the screen, and Ellen Cormier will sign for us.
Today at UUFBR, we celebrate the spring equinox. The word equinox means equal night. An equinox is traditionally defined as the time when the plane of the Earth's equator passes through the geometric center of the sun's disk. The moment when the Earth's rotation axis is directly perpendicular to the Earth-Sun line, tilting neither toward or away from the sun. In other words, Every year at the midway point between the longest night and the longest day, the sun shines directly on the equator. On the equinox, the sun appears to rise due east, set due west, and spend about as much time visible as not. An equinox just occurred on March 20th, this past Monday. It is globally called the northern equinox and the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere. This is the occurrence we use to mark the official beginning of spring in the northern hemisphere, according to farmers' almanacs and most of the printers of calendars. Humans have tracked the dates of the solstices and equinoxes for thousands of years. This picture shows the spring equinox at Stonehenge, and this picture shows the spring equinox at Chichen Itza. Ancient pagan Anglo-Saxons celebrated solstices and equinoxes. So, when Reconstructionists compiled a calendar for Wicca, the 4 quarter days were added to the 4 fire festivals celebrated by Celtic peoples to make up the 8-holiday Wheel of the Year used by Wicca and many other pagan groups today. The contemporary neo-pagan festival cycle. To differentiate Wiccan celebrations from the astronomical events themselves, Aidan Kelly named Ostara, Litha, and Mabon in 1974. Ostara was selected for the spring equinox after Estra, a goddess worshipped by West Germanic peoples prior to 800 Common Era. Only her name survived, and the fact that her festival was celebrated in April. Her name comes from a Proto-Indo-European root meaning dawn. Estra has become the neo-pagan avatar for the spring equinox, and many syncretic myths and practices have become associated with her. And while I'm up here, in case you're interested, here are some other pagan themes for Ostara. Those who worship the triple goddess will witness the crone become the maiden, setting aside the certainty of experience and wisdom to embrace wild curiosity, to experience things with a fresh perspective. And the green man awakens the life in the forest, renewing the lush vegetation at this time of awakening and growth. Today, we honor the spring equinox in a joyful and silly way. May there be mirth and reverence within you, says the charge of the goddess. And you may recognize these seasonal treats as retail's own harbingers of spring. I give you the lesser banishing ritual of the chocolate rabbit. Does everybody have their jelly beans? Can you go get the jelly beans? Raise your hand if you need jelly beans brought to you. Go get the jelly beans, hand them out. Awesome, he's coming. Maybe take the whole basket and not one at a time. Go, hand out the jelly beans. Hand out the jelly beans. You, hand out the jelly beans. Sorry. Owen, look for hands. Look for the hands that are up. Hand them to the people whose hands are up. Owen, give one to Monica. There's one right here. Don't forget Claire. Right here. Owen. There you go. Wait, this one. Thank you so much.
Behold, little jelly seeds, small symbols of the season, how we adore you. Green is
Now
for
comes the hard part. Get the green jelly bean.
green is for the grass that springs from the land.
Now you eat the green jelly bean.
Yes, eat the green jelly bean.
Does everybody have a yellow jelly bean?
Yellow is for the sun shining above our heads.
Eat the yellow jelly bean. Now find the red jelly bean.
Red is for the bright blossoms of the firebush.
Eat the red jelly bean. Now find the orange jelly bean.
Orange is for the fruit that grows plentiful in our groves.
Eat the orange jelly bean. Find the pink jelly bean.
Pink is the best one.
It's so good.
Pink is for the sunset, later and later each night.
Eat the pink jelly bean. Now you gotta find the purple jelly bean. You should be the last one left. Oh, man.
Paul, pink is the best one. Purple is for morning glories, twining around fences and bushes.
Eat the purple jelly bean.
Hail, hail to the mighty jelly bean of spring.
Does everybody have their peeps? Raise your hand if you need peeps. He needs a peep.
We'll have some people come around with the peeps.
Yeah, people are coming around with the peeps. All right.
All right.
Everybody hold up your peep chickens if you have a peep chicken. I think we're good.
Behold the peep. The chicken peep is life brought back in the spring. Little peep chickens, we honor you. And we eat you. Little peep bunnies, we honor you.
Does everybody have their chocolate rabbits?
Hail, hail to the mighty peeps of spring. And lastly, I believe we have some chocolate rabbits, if you haven't had enough sugar yet.
Raise your hand if you need a chocolate rabbit.
Behold the great chocolate rabbit. As he hops through the land, he spreads joy and happiness. Oh, how we adore the chocolate rabbit and his great big chocolate ears.
Eat his ears.
Praise the chocolate rabbit and his delicious chocolate tail.
You eat his tail.
Honor this chocolate rabbit and his chocolate hoppity legs.
You eat his legs.
He is a wonderful rabbit, and he is indeed special. Hail, hail to the mighty chocolate rabbit of spring.
Does everyone have a drink? There's drinks back there. Everybody get your drink ready. Might take a second. You might have to unscrew the cap. Insert the straw.
And we have some help passing out some waters and yoo-hoos.
We're going to raise our glasses in a toast.
To the jelly beans. To the peeps.
To the peeps.
To the chocolate rabbit.
To the chocolate rabbit.
To spring.
To spring.
We drink in your honor.
And by the way, if you picked up a little water bottle and you want to leave it on the table back there, I will recycle it. Let me see, we are got number 60, I think, in Time of Silver Rain. This is the words of Langston Hughes set to music. So rise as you are, embody your spirit, and turn to number 60 in Time of Silver Rain.
This is the story of Demeter and Persephone. As the mother of an only daughter, who is also the mother of an only daughter, this story hits home. In ancient Greek mythology, Demeter and Persephone's story tells of the deep connection a mother shares with her daughter. It also tells the story of a young girl who comes of age and falls in love with the dark god of the underworld. It represents the fading of innocence as a young woman charts her way into maturity to forge her destiny to the dismay of her fiercely protective mother. You can draw inspiration from this story and use it as a guide to how you deal with different seasons in your life. It's a story about love, relationship, family bonds, and a renewal of hope. The Genesis, Demeter and Persephone. As the legend goes, Hades rarely ventured out of the underworld, but the few times he did, he encountered Persephone. She was the alluring daughter of Zeus and Demeter. From the moment he first set eyes on her, he was drawn to her and instantly fell in love. So Hades went to his brother Zeus to consult him. Zeus had previously promised Hades one of his daughters in marriage, and when Hades told him that he wanted to marry Persephone, Zeus obliged. He knew, however, that Persephone's mother, Demeter, would never allow her daughter to marry the dark god of the underworld. Hades was heartbroken that he would never be able to have Persephone as his wife. So the two brothers hatched a plan that would see him marry the woman he desperately loved. The next morning, Demeter and her daughter descended upon the earth. The two were incredibly close, just as most mothers and daughters are when girls begin to transition into womanhood. Demeter was the life-giving goddess of agriculture, grain, and harvest. She provided mortals with plant foods and vegetables. She also gave them the ability to cultivate wheat. She showed them how to plant the seeds, nurture them, and harvest them. She even taught them how to grind the grain to produce flour, which they could turn into bread. Demeter, lost my place. Demeter left her daughter with the nymphs of the sea to watch over her while she went to tend to her earthly duties. Zeus knew that the nymphs would never let Persephone out of their sight for fear of Demeter's wrath. So he had Gaia plant an enchanting narcissus flower in a nearby garden. As Persephone wandered away from her mother and into the garden, she saw the flower and immediately was drawn to its beauty. The abduction. No sooner had she stopped to pick it than the ground beneath her feet began to quake, and a gaping crack soon appeared. As the crack widened, Hades and his chariot of black horses emerged from it and began charging towards Persephone. Before she could even master a scream, Hades grabbed Persephone and took her down with him into the world of the dead. The nymph named Scion witnessed the abduction and had tried to rescue Persephone, but there was nothing she could do. She was no match for Hades. Scion was so distraught over her friend's abduction that she cried until she melted into a pool of her tears, forming the river Scion. When Demeter returned, she couldn't find her daughter anywhere, so she asked the nymphs about it, but they had no answer. Demeter was furious that the nymphs didn't protect her daughter like they were supposed to. Her wrath rained down on the nymphs, and she cursed them, and plumed bodies, scaly feet, and wings. They would no longer be called nymphs of the sea. They would henceforth be known as sirens. When Persephone's belt was washed up by the river Scion, Demeter knew that something dreadful had happened to her daughter. She roamed the earth for days on end, driven mad by her beloved daughter's disappearance. She searched endlessly, neglecting her duties to tend to the earth to nourish the mortals. Plants withered, animals died, and famine ravaged the earth, resulting in untold misery. The cries of the mortals reached Mount Olympus, and Zeus knew he had to intervene to calm Demeter's wrath and spare humanity. Persephone, the Dark Queen. Zeus sent Hermes to the underworld to bring Persephone back home to her mother. When he got there, he was surprised by what he found. Instead of finding a sorrowful, grief-stricken maiden, he was met with the radiant queen. During her time there, Hades had beautiful gardens built for Persephone. He treated her with respect and compassion, and she inevitably began to fall in love with him. She saw a side of him she had never seen before, and she embraced her new home, helping the spirits of the dead to cross over. When Hermes requested her return, Persephone was conflicted. On the one hand, she loved Hades and wanted to remain with him, but on the other, she loved and deeply missed her mother. Hades was terrified that if she was presented with the choice of staying with him or returning to her mother, he would lose. So he offered her 6 pomegranate seeds to eat, and she did. In Greek mythology, it was believed that one ate food given to them by their captor, they would always return. Love conquers all. When Hermes brought Persephone back to Mount Olympus, Zeus asked her where she would like to live. She expressed that she wanted to stay by her husband's side. Demeter was infuriated by her response and was convinced that Hades had something to do with it. She wouldn't have any of it. She made it known in no uncertain terms that her daughter did not return to her. She would never again tend to the earth. Zeus decided that Persephone would split her time between her mother and her husband. Since she ate 6 pomegranate seeds, Persephone would spend half the year with her mother at Olympus and the other half with Hades. But changing seasons. Many people believe that Demeter and Persephone story explains the seasons of the year. During the time that Persephone spends away from her mother, Demeter causes the earth to wither and die. This time of year became known as autumn and winter. Persephone's arrival to be reunited with her mother signals the renewal of hope. It represents the rebirth of untold splendor and abundance. The earth once again becomes fertile and beautiful.
Thank you so much, Adele. A classic, timeless story. Now is the time in our service for Share the Plate. As I have been wanting or trying to get you all accustomed to doing, is that we pass the basket first. And I'll say a little bit about our recipient, and then our offertory, which is the musical response to our sharing the plate. We can sit and listen fully and silently as Monica Ciudad Real plays for us. Thank you for being here today. Okay, go ahead and pass the basket, gentlemen. So today, once again, we have Peace as our recipient. We are getting really close to collecting $1,000 for them. As our program is set up, half of what is given to the basket today gets shared with Peace, which is people engaged in active community efforts. Our congregation is a member of Peace, a community organizer that, from a grassroots effort, reveals problems in the community for folks, and Peace attempts to seek out solutions from civil servants and those in governance in the county and in the cities who can do something about these community problems. It's a very worthy cause. It generates much return from the actions taken. I'm going to say a little bit more about peace in the announcements. And so now let's listen as Monica plays her offertory. Thank you, Monica. If you've got a joy, we want to hear it. I will bring the microphone to you. Please tell us your name and speak slowly and right into the microphone.
Thank you. It's Emil. Proud and happy to have my son, Graham, here today, enjoying this wonderful service with us.
Hi, I'm Diane Garland. This is my face. What I'm thankful for is Dolly Parton. And speaking of books, while we were speaking of books, Dolly Parton has a program called Imagination Library. Her father never learned to read, in the holler. And she manages to send books to children all over this country, in little places and big places for free every month. And I've seen a few of them that my grandson receives in Ohio, in an area where it's not very, it's very loving, but not very liberal. And the books that I've seen are from many cultures and many peoples. So look what Dolly Parton's doing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jackie, and I am very grateful for my friends and a new friend that I made through my spouse's colleague, a teacher, who is also leaving, unfortunately, with all the stress and lawsuits going on. But she made some time before she leaves in 2 weeks to come over for craft day. So she actually helped me learn some new programs, and we started doing some crafts for the silent auction that we're going to be donating to. So I thought that was so nice of her. So, toodles to her, right? She's great. But I also want to thank you, because one time I was here and I was like, why is there a light? I had to come back here because someone took my phone by accident. And it was like, God, at least 9:30, almost 10 o'clock, and I see a little light in the back, and it was her. So she was still here. I was like, wow, I gave you so much credit, because, if I didn't see it for myself, you really do put a lot of effort here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie. I actually had, that was a good time. That it was a game night. I was here because of game night, and it was fun. Yeah, absolutely. So hang on, I've got a Joy here and a Joy there.
Oh, okay, thank you. My name is Rick, and my joy is, I want to thank you guys. You guys are wonderful, wonderful people. Last week, I gave a sorrow about my dad, and the people just gave such nice thoughts back to me. And my dad is doing better. His oxygen levels up, and he still has anxiety. He's in a hospital bed now, and he wants to get out of bed. But I consider that a good sign. So things are definitely looking as up as they can. I think in this life we have to keep positive thoughts as often as we can. So again, I want to thank this lovely, lovely family that we have here in our church. So let's go silent auction.
Okay, thank you, Rick. It's good to hear about your dad. All right, I had Adele, let's see. Adele, okay, so let's go Adele, Colette, and then Marilyn.
Okay. I just want to say about the Nehemiah action, that the first year that I ever went, one of the people asked this question: what are you going to tell your grandchildren about what you did about social justice? And my answer is Nehemiah action. Tomorrow night, Monday, there will be a bus from the church.
Thank you. So Colette?
Yeah, hey. Hi, I'm Colette. On December 30th, I lost my grandma. I lost my last grandparent. It's a joy though, because she left her 4 kids, her in her will, and because of that, I'm able to start grad school this summer fully paid for.
Congratulations, Colette. That's good news. Thank you for sharing.
I'm joyful that we can celebrate our practice in so many different ways, and today's service is proof of that. And all the work, I'm just joyful and thankful of all the work that group put into this, and I hope that you'll approach them afterward to ask them how to reach them and be part of this group if you're interested. So thank you again.
So I want to first, because are there any joys on Zoom?
Yes, there are. Marilyn Fikowski said, I'm joyful that we can celebrate the upcoming birth of Nick and Katie's baby. And then let's see, Allison said, do you know when the bus leaves tomorrow for the Nehemiah action?
I'm going to make an announcement about that. This is short. We're still in joys.
Okay, that's it.
My joy is to see Eric here. Some of you new people don't know Eric. He and his wife and his daughter were stalwart attendees until they kind of got so busy that one day they said Sunday morning was the only time that they could put their pajamas on and have waffles and hang out as a family. So I'm glad Eric is back. The second thing I want to say is that every single person here is invited to the first annual Nick and Katie baby shower. Okay? Whether you have a gift or not, the gift of you being here is joy alone, because we're kind of adopting this baby as a communal grandchild because their parents are up in Pennsylvania somewhere. Okay.
You said annual. Does that mean you're going to have a baby every year?
Hi, I'm Mary, and my joy is that I finally got the silent auction working on the website. On the front page near the top, there is a white button with purple letters. Don't tell me you can't find it. And now it's up to y'all.
Okay, so that's a good segue into the first announcement, which is Sandy's.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy, and I wanted to say the silent auction is live. It is great. There are so many things. I counted this morning 48 things on the silent auction, but I know a slew more are coming from events, from adventures, from mystery items, from useful items, from artists. You've got to look. It's so fantastic. I want to give a call out to the people who have helped me, to help me find and put up items. Claire Smith, Don and Betty Tilt, and Emil Kessler, who helped me find and do the items and is still working with me. But a special call out, and I want everyone to applaud for Mary, because she has done such a wonderful job. A fantastic job getting it up online. And it is so easy to go in, to read it, to go, to bid, to buy, and even a blind person can do it. So all of you go in and bid, because you're going to find a lot of really good stuff.
All right, thank you so much, Sandy, who does so much for this congregation. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be quick about this. Roll to the next slide. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., here in the parking lot, there will be a bus that will take us to Palm Beach County Convention Center for the Nehemiah Action Assembly. This is the easiest effort toward social justice that you could possibly engage in. All you got to do is show up. Because when peace goes before the mayor, Weiss, and there's going to be, I think, a county council person. There will be civil servants. There will be elected officials. They need to see you in the audience. All right, is the only way that we are going to convince them to make changes that will make for a more just and equitable living in Palm Beach County for folks. So please, I will be there. We will have snacks, okay? And we're going to have fun too. All right, thank you. Any questions? Let me know, let Betty know. We've got lots of seating left. What's the next thing? Tell me. Chalice extinguishing. Actually, since I have the microphone in my hand, it's on the screen. Together as flame is to spirit, so spirit is to breath, and breath to song. So we extinguish this flame in this sanctuary. May we carry it in our hearts. Our closing hymn is actually going to be closing of the Four Directions, and I'm going to let Allison do that.
Okay. We have a hymn that we're going to close the quarters with today. It's hymn number 387. And we're starting in the north, because we ended in the north.
387, the words are on will be on your screen, and are we going to sing this through a number of times, or are we going to try to do a round? Ron?
We're going to sing it a lot. If you will remain standing for the benediction.
Teachers Everywhere by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. In every person we meet, especially those who cause us discomfort, we find an opportunity to grow, to learn, to go further along the path of transformation that is our purpose in life. Every single one is a teacher. May the next week bring you many such moments of meeting that help you become the person that you want to be, and may you welcome them with joy.
Thank you, Allison, for this wonderful service. And folks, for those on Zoom, we thank you for being with us. The feed will now end, but we encourage you to stay in your virtual Zoom room and visit with each other. For all of those in the sanctuary, if you would like to head to Osias quietly as Monica plays her postlude, we ask you to exit